I mean, I think the feelings that he had pre-surgery not only still reside within him, but I believe that they have blossomed inside. I feel like that is the other painful secret that he's now having to keep is his admiration and his feelings towards her, and trying to swallow those down and shove those down and try to pretend that everything's cool, when really he knows that he'd love nothing more than to have a second chance at whatever that could have been. So yeah, and now you've got this kind of forbidden love that exists within Meechum, and that forbidden love is now in peril. And so I haven't seen anything. Derek hasn't really told me how we're going to get out of that situation if we're given a season two. But I am excited to see how motivated Meechum gets once he hears the news of where she is and what's happened to her. I would say very worried because we haven't really seen Meechum go off the rails yet at this point. We've seen what he's capable of when he's like clear-minded, but we haven't seen a furious fire being lit within him, and I think this is certainly a recipe for that. Well, I think that the jumping off point is right there. Is we see Meacham kind of just lose his and go a bit ballistic, uh, which I think will then possibly prove to not just Amber but also to him what this is that he holds, how he holds her, and. So then you might get some more exploratory stuff there, but also it would just make sense for that to be more complicated. And then now we're dealing with that. Now we're dealing with okay, well, she clearly knows, he knows how he feels. She's starting to clearly pick up how he feels. The others are probably starting to pick up how. So now it's like the tension, I think, within the task force of this happening, and maybe that it starts turning into the petty little fights or the little quips here and there, and it's like I can't have her, so I'm gonna be mean to her, just like a schoolyard in middle school. Oh gosh, I've probably got a list of 20. Listen, anybody that friends are always great. Friends that are of the caliber of Milo is always great. I mean, I Milo came on set. He wasn't working, but I got to hang out with him when he came on set and see him, and it was really great. I was mad and he was mad that we didn't actually get to work together. So it'd be nice to have some familiar faces, not just from movies or television, but familiar faces for me. I've been in the industry for several decades now, and I got a lot of really great, talented friends that it's always great working with people and people you respect and admire. So yeah, I think that if we are given a season two, that might give us a little bit more clout to get some names, and to bring in a few Milos as opposed to just one. Ooh, I think it'd be I always like the high intensity explosive shootouts. We kind of did one the end of episode one on the port there on the dock, and so I like that kind of stuff. Plus, I also like I'm trying to think back to like some of these big movies in like the 80s and 90s that were really the inspiration for this show. And it's, you talk about like Die Hard and stuff, where his shoes are gone and now he's got bloody feet because the glass is everywhere. Like those kinds of things that I think lend itself to also having some comedic elements. Those are my favorite kind of fight scenes, our favorite kind of action scenes. It's great. Yeah, Joe knocked it out of the park when he came on. I mean, we were all really sad to see Jonathan Togo go when Drew was shot in I think episode 3. But Joe Didicole came on and just did an outstanding job of not only facilitating his role but also just blending in seamlessly with the cast. So yeah, I hope Joe sticks around for a while. I think he's absolutely crushing it. I mean, everybody, top to bottom, like there's just no weak link. So it's if there's what do they say? If you don't know that there's a weak link, then it's probably you. So it's probably me. I'm
Yeah.
probably the weak link at this point. Mm. Um, yeah, maybe exploring a little bit more of his familial past. Maybe diving in a little bit to like, his because he mentions his father a little bit and how tough that was, but he doesn't talk much about anything else. And so maybe diving in a little bit to what he was that has brought him to who he is now. I always like that. I always like peeling back layers of a character to kind of to dive in and give more of a foundation of to build on. No, not necessarily. I don't like to do that because then all of a sudden, if I've come up with my own backstory and then all of a sudden the script says something completely different, then I'm like, oh, well, I've been playing the wrong thing this whole time. So I like to let the writers kind of unveil that as they see fit, and then I just take that and add that to my kind of arsenal of tools that I can use to play this guy. But I do think that maybe a visitor from his past that sheds some light on who he was and how he's ended up being the way he is.